this is Jennifer Pionk, and this video companion is going to help teach you how to crochet my crocheted cables messy bun pattern. The hat begins with a stretchy rib band. Then we're going to go into working into the sides of the rows of the band to begin the body of our hat. In the body of our hat, we have a 6-strand cable. We also have several 2-strand cables. We have 2-strand cables that have a single front post double crochet on each side of them. Go ahead and grab all your supplies. I'm going to be using Red Heart Soft in the colors Seafoam and White. You'll need a 5mm crochet hook, 6mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, scissors, tape measure, a scrap piece of yarn or a stitch marker, and if desired, a 2-inch hair elastic. Go ahead and grab all your supplies and let's get started. Let's begin our stretchy ribbed band. I've gone ahead and chained 5. Go ahead and follow along in the written pattern for whatever size you're making. We're going to work into the back hump of the foundation chain, work a single crochet into the second chain from your hook, and in each chain across. Now for row 2, in all even rows, you chain 1 and turn. We're going to work into the back loops only. We're going to slip stitch across. When you work your slip stitches, make sure that you work them loosely enough so that your work doesn't pucker. A good guide is to make sure that your slip stitches are the same stitch width as the loops of the stitch from the previous row. Chain 1 and turn. Now for all odd number rows from here on out, we're going to work in the back loops only, work a single crochet into each stitch across to the last stitch. And then for the last stitch, we're going to work through both loops. Work a single crochet through both loops. Okay, let's work another even number row. Chain 1 and turn, slip stitch in the back loops only of each stitch across. And an odd number row. Chain 1 and turn and single crochet into each stitch across in the back loops only to the last stitch, working through both loops, single crochet into that last stitch. Now for your band, go ahead and complete the band by working it until it reaches the length in the pattern before stretching. So don't stretch it and then measure it. Don't stretch it until after you've gotten to the desired length written in the pattern. Go ahead and complete your ribbed band and meet me back here for the seam. Now that my band is completed, we're going to go ahead and seam the stretchy band. We're going to go ahead and bring row 1 up to meet the last row. Place your working yarn on the inside of your band. Make sure that the right side is facing out. Right side has more of a detailed rib effect. So it's going to feel awkward to hold, but this is the way that I found that helps eliminate the look of a seam, even though we are seaming. First we're going to chain 1. You're going to insert your hook from front to back into the front loop only of the first stitch of the first row, and then insert your hook from bottom to top into the back loop only of the first stitch of the last row. Yarn over, pull that loop through all loops on your hook to create a slip stitch. Let's see that again. Insert your hook from front to back into the front loop only of the first row. Insert your hook from back to front into the back loop only of the last row. Yarn over, pull up a loop and pull it all the way through all loops on your hook. Create a slip stitch. Insert your hook from front to back into the front loop only of the first row, back to front, and the back loop only of the last row, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull it all the way through loops on your hook. Go ahead and complete that across to finish up the seam on your hat. Then we're going to begin the body of our hat. Okay, if you've worked your seam, to begin the body of our hat, we're going to chain 1. Now round 1 is worked into the side of the rows from your band. You're going to work into the side of the rows of the single crochet. And you're going to work into the side of the rows with the slip stitches as well. Now, I don't work mine in this top little loop here, because then it seems to leave a hole or a gap. So I work mine, it's almost like I'm going down a stitch. Work mine in that space there. It leaves less of a visible hole. So continue around, work your stitches evenly around the band of the hat. Make sure that you have the stitch count that matches at the end of round 1. Go ahead and finish up, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of round 2. Now that you've completed round 1 of the body of your hat, we're going to work on round 2. I'm not going to go over every stitch in the entire round. I'm just going to get you through the repeats. We're going to chain 1, okay, half double crochet into the next stitch, front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches, and that is 1 repeat. So make sure you work the correct number of repeats before working the next part. Okay, we have a half double crochet in the next stitch, front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches, now we're going to work that center portion that includes that 6-string cable. So work a half double crochet and work 2 front post double crochets, or 1 front post double crochet around each of the next 2 stitches. Work a half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And work a front post double crochet around each of the next 6 stitches. And you work a half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and a front post double crochet around each of the next 2 stitches. And then we just begin working our repeats that we worked at the beginning of the round, which was a half double crochet into the next stitch and a front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches. Okay, now at the end of round 2, you're going to see that we're not going to be joining our round. We're going to begin working in continuous rounds, and that's why I said we needed a stitch marker or a scrap piece of yarn. I prefer to use a scrap piece of yarn because it's easier for me to move from row to row, from round to round as we work. So place it after the last stitch of round 2 before you work the first stitch of round 3. And to begin round 3, we're going to work a half double crochet in the first stitch. We're going to work a front post double crochet around the next post stitch. Now we're going to work a forward cable 2. So we skip the first post stitch, work a front post double crochet around the next post stitch, Working in front of that post stitch just worked, work a front post double crochet around the skipped stitch. And that's our first 2-strand cable. Then we work a front post double crochet around the next post stitch. And that's a repeat for round 3. We have a half double crochet, front post double crochet, forward cable 2, and a front post double crochet. So repeat that however many times it tells you to in the pattern. Then when you're done with your repeats, you work a half double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, forward cable 2 around the next 2 post stitches. A half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And now a forward cable 6. For the forward cable 6, you skip over the first 3 post stitches, and we're going to work a front post treble crochet around each of the next 3 post stitches. So yarn over twice, insert your hook from front to back to front around the post of that 4th stitch. Complete your front post treble crochet, then work a front post treble crochet around each of the next 2 post stitches. Now we're going to work a front post treble crochet around each of the skip stitches, beginning in the stitch furthest to the right, working towards the left as you normally work. You reach over, insert your hook from front to back to front around the post of that first skip stitch, and complete your 4th front post treble crochet of the cable. Work a front post treble crochet around the 2nd and the 3rd skip post stitches. And that's it. We've worked our first forward cable 6. And you work a half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and a forward cable 2 around the next 2 post stitches. If you need extra practice on these cables or any of these post stitches, the front post double crochet or the front post treble crochet, visit my stitch tutorial page on my blog and you'll find video tutorials and full photo tutorials and written tutorials to help you with those. Okay, so then you go ahead and complete the repeats of the round for your round 3. Once you've made it to the end of round 3, remove your stitch marker, place it after the last stitch of round 3. So you're ready to begin round 4 with a half double crochet. Now up to this point, you have your textures taking shape. Now round 4, you're going to work the same as you worked for round 2. Half double crochet in the first stitch, front post double crochet around each of the next 4 stitches. Now when working around the twisted stitches from our cable from the previous round, you might need to stick your hook in there, reach in and grab and pull the stitch out. And that's okay, you're not going to disrupt the stitches you've already worked in the previous round. They're in there for good. And now you can get to see a little bit better definition from that forward 2-strand cable. I'm going to work on over and show you working across the 6-strand cable since the stitches have been twisted. Now when working across where the stitches have been twisted, you work from right to left. If you stick your finger in there, you'll see that it makes like an S shape. So follow the stitches from right to left around that S. Work a front post double crochet around each of the 6 stitches. Even if you have to push things out of the way, you're not going to disrupt anything, so go ahead and do that. Now you can see your 6-strand cable. So go ahead and complete your round 3. I'm sorry, go ahead and complete your round 4. And I'll show you how I changed colors for my hat. You can complete yours in a solid color if you'd like. My daughter wanted stripes in her hat, so I put stripes in her hat. When you come to the last stitch of round 4, this is where I began using another color. And the last pull through of that last front post double crochet of the round, I simply added in, pulled through with the new color. Move your stitch marker. You can begin the next round, which is round 5. With a half double crochet. Now, I did not cut my yarn. I simply carried it up on the inside of my hat for the next time I change colors. To work the colors that I worked in the hat, I worked 3 rounds of white and 3 rounds of seafoam after that, all the way through the rest of the hat. Okay, now that I've shown you how to work the cable rounds, the round 3 repeats, and round 4, you can complete the rest of your hat. So follow along in your pattern until you get to where you need to work the crown shaping, and I'll meet you back there. Now for the first round of the crown shaping, it begins with a half double crochet in the first stitch, and then in our repeats, we work a front post double crochet 2 together around our forward cable 2. We also work the same thing around the forward cable 2 that is alongside of our 6-strand cable. I'm going to quickly go over the front post double crochet 2 together and then let you complete the round on your own. So we front post double crochet around the next post stitch. Now we're going to work a front post double crochet 2 together. Yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert your hook around the post of the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Now you've decreased from 2 to 1 stitch. And then front post double crochet around the next post stitch. Okay, so go ahead and complete round 1 of your crown shaping, working a front post double crochet 2 together around every forward 2 cable. And I'll meet you back at the beginning of round 2 of the crown shaping. Okay, round 2 of our crown shaping, we half double crochet into the next stitch. Now we're going to work a front post double crochet 2 together but we're going to work them around the 2 front post double crochets from our repeats. So around this stitch and this one, skipping over our front post double crochet 2 together from the previous round. Yarn over, insert your hook front to back to front around the post of that first front post double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, then skip over the front post double crochet 2 together from the previous round, yarn over, insert your hook from front to back to front around that next front post double crochet, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. This is actually going to give you a stitch decrease of 2 because we're skipping over this stitch and then we're combining these 2 stitches. Okay, half double crochet into the next stitch, work a front post double crochet 2 together around the next post stitch and the next front post double crochet, skipping over the front post double crochet 2 together. Okay, half double crochet into the next. So repeat that around till you get to the forward cable 6, so your 6-strand cable. Now we're going to do something similar for the 6-strand cable. We're going to work a front post double crochet 2 together around the first and the third stitch, skipping over the second post stitch. And then again around the first and the third stitch of the last 3 stitches, skipping over the middle post stitch. And then continue around, follow the pattern, and complete round 2 of your crown shaping. And I'll meet you back at the beginning of round 3. The last round of the hat, round 3 of the crown shaping, is simply single crochet into each stitch around. I didn't add an elastic to the top of my hat, but you can if you'd like. To do so, hold the elastic near the last round of your hat. When you work your single crochet, work it into the stitch, put your hook up through the center of the ponytail, grab your working yarn, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through your loops to complete your stitch, so that you're completing your stitch around the elastic. Let's see it again. Insert your hook into the next stitch, up through the center of the ponytail, grab your working yarn, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the remaining loops. Now if you'd like the ponytail to be covered more, you can work a couple of stitches into one of the 2 or a half a dozen of the stitches around. That's it. After you've completed round 3, your hat is complete. You can fasten off your yarn, weave in any of your ends, and then wear it. If you have any questions, use the contact form at the bottom of the blog page to contact me and ask. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great day.